Often these entrepreneurs, they know their technology really well, but they don't have 20, 30 years in the industry, right? And they recognize they need that help.
Hi, I'm Luke Timmerman. I'm here at BioPharm America at the Sheraton Boston, and with me today is Chris Garabedian. He's the founder and CEO of a company called Xontogeny. And I think a lot of viewers may recognize Chris from past life as the CEO of Sarepta Therapeutics, a company that successfully developed an important new drug for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Thanks for joining us, Chris.
Happy to be here.
So, Xontogeny. Tell us, what was the gap that you saw in the venture landscape that made you want to start this company?
Yeah. Well, what I recognized was that there's a lot of great technologies that are out there that are stuck at that preclinical stage. They may have done some interesting experiments through grant money, maybe it comes out of an academic lab, but what I realized was while there's a lot of money out there, there's a lack of experienced biopharma talent to take all of these technologies forward. And so I felt that building an aggregator of some experienced talent, domain expertise in biotech that could manage a portfolio of companies through that critical stage from early development through clinical proof of concept was needed in the industry. And so that's why I started Xontogeny.
So you've called this the middle market. How do you think about that in terms of, like, there's a market of VCs out there that do big ideas, big money, big platforms. Where does this fit?
Well, what I saw was because of the success of biotech, especially the investment success, you've seen bigger and bigger funds. And generally, instead of taking a $500 million fund and placing 100 bets, small bets, they tend to place bigger bets, more on platform technology. And it was basically squeezing out interesting opportunities where you take a lead drug through development for an important disease. And so many of those companies or entrepreneurs are seeking 5 to 10 million in an A round, and that doesn't fit always with the larger VCs. So I call it the middle market because it's a little bit more money than you can cobble together from an angel investor or a friend of the family or even some of the angel networks, but you don't need 30 million in an A round. So if you need 5 to 10, 12 million to get through IND enabling work into the clinic, we think that is the middle market, and that's exactly the type of companies we like to work with.
So typically what happens is a scientific entrepreneur comes to you with a proposal, and you look at it and say, me and a small management team here can imagine putting, say, $5 to $10 million, putting together a set of experiments to see, is this in fact a drug that we can hopefully then sell to a bigger company?
Yeah, I mean, what we're really trying to solve for in terms of the fit is often these entrepreneurs, they know their technology really well, but they don't have 20, 30 years in the industry, right? And they recognize they need that help. So what we'll do is we'll take some of that founder's equity, but in exchange, we'll allow them to keep it pretty virtual. It usually is more favorable in terms of their equity, being able to hold on to the equity. And we will do the investment the old-fashioned way, I call it. Step up so that the entrepreneur and we can experience that valuation step up before we take more capital in to get to the next stage. And so that's where we felt that was more friendly toward entrepreneurs in allowing them to participate in some of the upside without taking a 30 or 40 or $50 million A round where they get significantly diluted, and oftentimes they want to walk away from that type of deal structure.
And for you, you're supervising CROs for the most part, so you can focus on a portfolio. You can work on a half dozen of these companies in parallel, right?
Yeah, well, and only because it's early stage. When you get complex and you have multiple, phase 3 studies that you're managing, you need to manage people, you need to manage, departments, you need to figure out if you go public and all of that. And so we think in that early stage, when you're going from lead optimization to clinical proof of concept, you should be able to manage it relatively virtually by managing CROs. The other thing is, why do so many companies fail? We think it's because of that design issue, right? Are you making the right choices every step of the way, from the in vitro model to the translational animal model to the right phase 1, phase 2 strategy? And that's what we focus a lot of our attention on. And then execution of that strategy is managing the vendors, the service providers, the CROs, to make sure they're getting it right.
Well, we're just getting started, so we'll wait and see how this goes. Best of luck, Chris. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it, Luke. Thanks a lot.